What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the Fear of Being Average trading channel. Today I got a special video for you guys. I'm going to be showing you guys my bread and butter setup that I look for on a daily basis. I've gone over this setup already in a previous video explaining my only two setups that I look for, but in this video I'm going to be strictly going over my favorite one and the one that pays me the most, and which one happens and which is high probability. This is a trade that you can catch very often, and it's simply, in simple words, is I'm looking for a pullback back to the 50% of an Asian session, which is also in confluence with the order block and in confluence with my fib levels. So I'm going to show you guys examples, and I'm going to show you me doing so. But I know most people that watch my live trading sessions every morning, you would already know about what this setup is and why I look for it, and you'll have examples that you've seen live. But I'm gonna draw a simple schematic, but simply, let's say this is the Asian session. I always tell everyone, mark up the Asian session. This is the Asian session, for example. I would be waiting for London session. I don't trade London session, but when I wake up during New York session, I'm gonna look back in the past to see what happened during London session. In London session, I would like to see a false break of lows and then trade higher during London session. Then for New York session, I will be looking for a pullback back to the 50% of this Asian range, and I will be looking to take price even higher. This is simply what it is. And then when I tell everyone to mark the Asian range high, the Asian low, I'm waiting for it to come back to 50%. We had a false break of the lows, looking to target previous day's highs. This is in simple terms what I look for, and I'm going to try to find examples of this. So let's just go right here. Let's see if there's an example right here. There might be, but let's see. We mark up the Asian session. What do? We mark up the 50%. And in this case, this isn't a setup we would have worked out. So we're gonna go and find another one, because guys, you gotta understand this doesn't happen on a daily basis. This doesn't happen every 15 minutes. You might get the trade 3 to 4 times a week if you're lucky. You might get it 2, 3. You never know. Just everything's different. You gotta understand that. Oh, did I get rid of the Asian session? I got rid of the whole box. Nice. I don't know how I did that. Oh, I clicked it. All right, that's fine. All right, now I gotta go back and find that example. Where was it? I found an example, but like I said, you guys can't think it's gonna happen every single day. You gotta be patient and have the patience to wait for this setup. So let's see. I think there's one right here. Yes, you guys could say that I'm picking and choosing where I'm choosing these setups, but backtest it yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. Backtest it yourself and tell me if this doesn't work, and then you can come back and say something. Because at the end of the day, if you see it for yourself, then you know I'm not lying, because you've witnessed it. So everything I do, make sure you backtest it yourself so you can have a good understanding. So right here, this looks like a good example. As you can see, during 3 a.m. we had a false break of these highs right here, a little bit higher. We had a false break of the highs right there. I'll make it smaller for you guys. Right there, we had this false break, cleared it. Then what happened when we did that? Price immediately fell, going the other direction, going all the way down. Then around 7 in the morning, New York session, pre-New York session, price started retracing. So what are we gonna do? We simply would have pulled our fib from that London high, pulled it to the New York low, and okay, we see where the fib settings is. But now we also look to the left and we say, okay, there's also confluence in this one area, because this is also the 50% of the Asian range. And you can see, look at this. And then mind you, this isn't the only confirmation. I'm not gonna go to the higher time frame because I'm back testing. So if I go to higher time frame, matter of fact, I'll go real quick, just so I can show you guys an example. I just don't like having to go all the way out like this. That's the only thing. But if you look closely, nothing here. I'm looking for a possible order block on the higher time frame. And what do you see? Pull this all the way up here. You see that this was a 1 hour order block where we originally rejected at 3 in the morning up here. Then we had a retracement. Then where did we trade back into? The last up candle right here for the down move, which is the 1 hour order block. And if you don't know which one I'm talking about, I'll zoom in for you guys, just like this. I'm talking about, don't mind the Asian range, don't mind none of that. I'm talking about this candle right here. And then you can see we came up, retested it, also was in confluence with our fib settings, also in confluence with the 50%, and you can see we ended up targeting the previous day's low, and then ended up trading even lower. This would have been a good move right here, and this was a Friday move, so this was a move ending the week that if you would have held, it could have been a potential 1100 pip move. And I'm gonna show you guys another example, because this is something that happens often. I'm telling you guys because I have examples and screenshots of this happening myself. If I can't find none live on the chart for you guys, I will personally just show you my screenshots of me seeing this work. So let's see. I just saw a consolidation. Like you guys can see, it's not always gonna happen. It happens here and there, every little times in a week. And mind you, I'm on a higher time frame right now. Every time frame is different. Every time frame is gonna look different. Let's see, right. Okay, right here. So we're gonna mark up the previous day's Asian range from 19 to 2, or you could just use the indicator like I have up here, the Asian session range. If you just look that up in indicators, but honestly, you can't really use it when you're back testing, so it's kind of pointless right now. So I'm gonna have to do it myself. I'm gonna mark up the 50% of this Asian session. And what I'm gonna look for, I'll look for what happened during 3 a.m. 3 a.m. we didn't have no possible false break, which is something I do look for, but it's not always gonna happen, and you just have to understand that. But you can see during New York session, we traded higher. We had a false break during New York session above these highs, but we also traded into a breaker block. We cleared these highs, but then what did we trade into? We traded into this breaker block right up here. The last down candle before this up move right here. Here, I'm gonna zoom in for you guys so you can see it. What's going on, guys? So before you keep on watching the video, I just wanted to tell you guys about this opportunity that I have for you guys. So as of recently, I have been getting a lot of questions and comments and concerns about whether or not I do one-on-one mentorship. I personally do not do one-on-one mentorship, but I do have mentorship now, which I decided because you guys have been asking for a while now. So what will I be providing? I will be providing daily live stream access and mentorship every single day, where I will teach you everything that I know, and I will guide you from zero to hero. And along with that, I will be giving you live trade analysis, and you will know all of my trades taken live, real time. So with that being said, the price of it right now is $100 a month, but the price is not going to be like that for long. After the first 100 people join, I will be having the price go up, so make sure you take advantage while you can. And now you can finish watching the video. This last down candle right here before this up move, because this was a previous bullish order block. So when price came down here, you could have been expecting price to move higher, but you see it didn't. It got broken through, broke structure, so it becomes a breaker block. You can see what happened afterwards. We broke down, price retraced into that breaker block, where now if we pull our fib, our regular fib, from this high of the Asian range to this low created during the New York session at 6 in the morning when we started to range, you see we had a retracement to where we got the 50% of the Asian range. We have our fib settings, and we also have not our fib settings, our fib levels. And look how close. If you would have waited to get in at 70.50, you could have had a sniper entry just like that. And also keep in mind, look at all this confluence. I'll draw it with the red line. The breaker block, the 50% of the 50% of the Asian range, and our fib levels. And mind you, I didn't even mark up the 12 a.m. open. So let's see where the 12 a.m. open is. Ideally, with the 12 a.m. open, you would be wanting to buy. You would be wanting to buy below 12 a.m. open, and if it's you want to sell, you want to be selling above this 12 a.m. open. I'm going to show you right here. So when price open, look at that. We're buying above where price opened. As you can see, this is the first time it came up here, but it also has so much confluences, took out all the liquidity, traded into our area, and then what happened afterwards. Even though this move didn't last long, this was a 120 pip move, and ideally if you would have been targeting the previous day's lows. That target wouldn't have been hit. As you can see, the target wouldn't have been hit. But simply, if you would have had this trade, if I would have got in, I would have been looking to probably get in at 62, honestly, with a stop loss, probably like 30 pips, honestly, just to give it breathing room in this case scenario. And I'll be targeting these lows right here. I'll be targeting these lows, and this right here is a 1 to 2.5 almost. It's a 1 to 2.47, but mind you, if you just change your stop loss by a pip, it's a 2 to 5, and that's an easy trade. You can see this happen. We're on a 15-minute time frame. Happened between 1 to 2 15-minute candles, 30-minute trade for a 1 to 2. And if you would have left the runner, you possibly could have caught a little bit more. But you can see this setup happens, and I just want you guys to be able to back test this yourself. I'll show you guys this setup again. When you're back testing, you're looking for something similar to this setup right here. Simple as that. I'll write it out for you guys. So step one, not step one, but the first thing I'm looking for is a Asian session 50% retest. And mind you, it's not always going to be perfect, but if it comes close, guys, with other confluences, it's pretty near high probability also. So just keep that in mind. If you want to be disciplined, stick to your strict rules and really get in at these levels, because if you guys watch my live streams, I will miss trades by 3 pips trying to get these perfect entries. And sometimes it sucks, but this is a level of discipline that you got to have at some point. So the Asian session 50% retest. I'm also looking for the New York, can't spell. I'm looking for the New York session to retrace London's move. So like I said, I'm looking for a New York session to have a retracement, and I'm looking to continue London session's trend. So just like this, we had this New York London session, we broke lows, had a false break, then we traded higher. New York session, we're coming to retrace London's move to move higher. Then the third thing I'm looking for is when we trade to the 50% of this Asian session, we're also looking for order blocks, and we're also looking for fib setups. And when all of these match together in an area, you have high confluence. And another thing that is always possible, look for big figure levels. And big figure levels are, say for example, 35,000. That's one. 35,800. And I'm also using the 200s and the 500s. So 35,200 and 35,500. I use all 80, 20, and 50 levels. And that's the same for US30, which is 35,000, 35,800, 35,200, 35,500. And for example, another one would be 33,000, 33,200, 33,500, 33,800, and then 34,000. That's how I use with US30. I personally can't give you any other. You would have to figure it out with how it works with each pair, because each pair number is different, but this is how I use it on US30, and this is what I know how to do. And also, the last thing you're looking for, sell above. I can't spell for shit. That's why I'm a trader, guys. Sell above 12 a.m. open. Buy below 12 a.m. open. When you do this, guys, it will give you a very high probability setup for price to go in your direction. Because when you buy, say, let me show you an example on the daily chart. Let me just get rid of everything. I won't get rid of everything yet. But when you buy as close to the open as possible, you are able to catch the full expansion of the day. So you're able to catch the most of the move. And even if you don't catch the full move, you're able to catch the majority because you got in so low. And like you guys can see, when you have bullish days, the best entries are going to be when at the very bottom. Because this is, if you look at the risk reward for these candles, from the open of the candle, it wicked only about 50 pips to downside, but when it moved all the way up, it moved about 380. And then if you do the same thing for other candles, like here, almost the same thing, risked about 140 for a potential 560. But this is just, guys, this is why back test it, guys. You'll see what I mean when you back test it. And if you don't want to back test it, watch my live sessions and watch this stuff happen live, because you guys need to see this work for you to believe it. And once you start believing it, you're never going to look back. Trust me. But like I said, here are the 5 things just to pay attention for when you're looking for this setup. This is ideally what I'm looking for. This is just, I don't really have a name for this setup. I just call it the London continuation setup. And I also have another setup, which is the New York reversal setup. These are my only 2 setups, and I have that in my previous video. But yeah, this is the only thing I look for. This is my main setup. This is the one that happens most often, because if you pay attention to US30, you understand that it's always, more than likely, always in an uptrend. Look at the daily chart. It's majority of times in an uptrend. So when I'm able to catch moves like this with this particular setup, I'm able to leave runners that I can leave to have price continue to keep going higher, and turn into long swing positions just based off of what the smallest percent runner, a 0.01. If it moves 500 points, it's $500. And these moves can happen every single day, and you can see the trend. And look how, think of it with probability wise. If you buy in this market, you already have a higher probability of having winning trades, and that's just what it is based off a probability standpoint. But if you guys need to screenshot this, I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully I was able to inform you on how I trade, or just overall trading overall. This is my bread and butter setup that I look for on a daily basis. I don't always get it, but that's why I have another setup that I look for. And if I don't get that one, I don't take no trades. Simple as that. Make sure you guys have a strict system to follow every day, because that's how you gain consistency. And that's really it. Take a screenshot of this, back test this, try it out for yourself before the Monday opens, because when you see it, you're never going to look back, and I promise you that. Don't forget to fear being average, and I'll see you guys later.